up with the pledge and then go to the moment of silence.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a brief moment of silence for our troops and first responders.
I'd like to thank everyone for that. Let's go to the tracking log. And I've got the two applications on for tonight. The first, Synthus, and then the Boyle application.
That's correct. That's what we have for.
Okay, next we'll have any public comments on non-agenda items. Assume this is no public, there'll be no comments.
None.
Okay, the next item we have the minutes to go over. Does anyone have any comments? There being none, I had spoken to Ernie. He had no comments as well. Anyone want to make a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I will move to approve the minutes of July 1, 2020.
Do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
Minutes passed. Let's go now to the Synthus presentation.
Great. So let's give you a quick update, Commission, on so we had a engineering review and a fire service or fire protection review with a few comments that had to be addressed. The applicant did revise the plans, submitted revised plans that you have before you tonight, as well as met with township staff and at the site to look over some of the fire protection comments and issues that were identified, and those have been addressed as well. So with that, you have my memo in front of you and the township engineer's clean letter. So that's my update, John.
Okay. The only thing I had left on there was, and I had brought it up before, was an easement. If there was a requirement for that between the two properties.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if the current easement is sufficient, since we don't have a copy of that,
Right. So
to suffice for the fire apparatus use of their parking lot. In the
If I could jump in.
yeah,
I don't know if my audio's up. This is Brendan Burke.
you're good.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, so we did, Dan Daly was very helpful with that last time. I was able to track down the subdivision plans from December 2013 for these two properties through the recorder of deeds. And there is a blanket easement for ingress and egress between the two parcels. I cross-referenced it, and because I'm not the engineer, I forwarded it along to Dave Citro to confirm that it covered the area where what we're calling a emergency access breakthrough or lane would come through. And Dave did concern that. So we have from approved plans on file with the recorder of deeds dated December 2013, that easement already in place. So there's no need for another document for that.
Could you forward that to, I guess, the Planning Commission, also the Board of Supervisors?
Yes, and what I'll do is I'll print out that sheet. I'll print out the sheet. It's like a 6 or 7 sheet back. It has it, and it's got like some cross hatchings on it. I can get that. I'm actually not even in my home office right now. I'm out of state, but I can forward that along. But yeah, I can confirm that the easement's already in place.
Okay.
Brendan, was that note added to the plan, Dave or Brendan?
There was 2 easements required. One of them was permission from the neighboring property owner for the fire apparatus, and the second was the blanket easement for stormwater management permission. I know the stormwater management note was added by Dave, and I don't know if Dave I forwarded to him the sheet or the photo that has the location of the easement on it. Maybe Dave might have it handy. I'm not sure.
That'll end up being on our land development plan.
Okay.
So I think
The easement already exists, yeah.
Yeah, so that would suffice for as long as those notes are on the plan. When it goes to the Board of Supervisors for final plan submission and signatures. John, did you hear
Okay,
that?
I guess,
Okay.
given with that, if that's all part of the final application that's going to move towards the Board of Supervisors, does anyone want to make a motion on this application? If not, I will. Grab that. I move that the Planning Commission recommend approval of the land development application for Synthus Jabal Finishing Plant Expansion Project dated March 31st, 2020, last revised July 27th, 2020, and grant the waivers requested with the following conditions. One, the applicant agrees to design the rooftop structures in accordance with the Township Zoning Ordinance requirements 240-19.F2, and two, the applicant agrees to address any final comments from staff and the township engineer prior to submission of plans to the Township Board of Supervisors. Any comment on the motion?
Hey, John, do we want to add a comment in there about the zoning, or I'm sorry, the easement, or is that just going to be part of staff comments?
I would assume that'd be a part of the staff comments. Mark, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, that's fine. I think number one covers that, and Dave will get that plan sheet change in and for the board's meeting.
And it'll be in our minutes, so.
Yes.
In that case, I'll second the motion unless anyone else has comments.
Any other comments? Again, no members of the public available?
Susan, you see anybody?
No, there's no public.
Any public?
Okay.
No public comments, eh?
Okay, with the second, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Great, and we have, how many we have? We have 4.
Okay. Next on the agenda, the Boyle application for 1137 North Chester Road for the dimensional variance.
And has she joined the room yet?
She has joined, yes.
Okay, great. I was gonna call her. Okay.
Okay.
Mark, I think we're gonna drop off now and get.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, no,
Thank
very
you.
good. Gentlemen, we'll, I'm gonna get all this stuff together for you guys to get on the board's agenda for Tuesday evening. So, if you can prepare plans, or you can get plans to me by then, that'd be great. With all this COVID stuff, my plans are all over the place, and I only have one set here. So,
Mark, I have the stormwater management operating agreement all teed up. Obviously, it's a pro forma from your website. The reason I didn't submit it today is because it requires, the fill in the blank for the planned date of last revisions. I want to get that from Dave, but I want to get it to either you or Krista. If you want to send it through you, that's fine. But because I know your ordinance requires that the signatory to the agreement be the same person on the deed to the property, and it might take us a few days to figure out who at Synthes would be the person on that to get that done. I don't want that to be a holdup, so I'm going to get ahead and get that done. I may just leave the date last revised, and we can write it in.
It's pretty loosey goosey there. I think
Okay.
CFO, COO, somebody of a rank.
A management person who's authority to buy the company.
I'll be fine. I'm not going to challenge it.
Okay, great.
I
That's
just
what I'll
need
do
to
then.
Say, hey, somebody signed this at one point.
No, that's perfect. And I'll have a management employee be able to take
And
care.
that's not a huge. That's like a building permit thing. So
Yep.
on that one either.
I just
so.
didn't want to be, you know how it is with the corporation. Sometimes you got to
Yep.
make.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it very much, and we'll be in touch. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, good. So your first land development plan for the year down and out of the way. Now for our first zoning hearing application for the year. As you may have read in my memo about this property, it's a currently existing legal non-conforming structure, legal conforming use, residential R2 zoning with a property that's about 14 feet from the property line. It's just an older home, probably 30s or 40s. And they had an application for a variance some years ago for a deck. I think it was in 2010. Was that?
Yes.
Something like that. So they will, the new owner is proposing a 2-story addition to the home for their family expansion. And so with that, I think it's pretty straightforward. And staff doesn't have any challenges or issues at this point and think that it makes sense to move forward and for you guys to support. But again, that's your decision. So with that, John, it's all yours.
Mark, you had mentioned on there that you weren't sure whether the Mr. Boyle or the Boyles would want to expand or have a deck on the back of the property as well, or whether they needed to add that to the
It's a good question for the
current application.
to ask. Yeah.
We do not wish to add a deck off the back.
So if you guys wanted to in the future to do a patio or something, that would be a little bit different because it's technically not a structure above ground. So you could do something like that. That would be fine.
Okay.
But once you put a foundation or a footer in the ground and it's a structure that, it gets a little gray there. So to be on the safe side, what we did with the former owner was that, they had a patio and then they went to a deck and expanded it out. So we had them go through the variance process. So I didn't want you to have to come back again later if you did.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. I had spoken to Ernie regarding this one. He had no additional comments regarding it, and he was in support of it. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Well,
If not, I will.
questions of the applicant, or if the applicant wants, the Boyles want to give us a little bit of background on what they're proposing there.
Yeah, excuse me. We're going to use the deck as a template and just build up. It's about 18 by 24. The first floor would be a family room, and the second floor would just be an extension of the bedroom with a master bathroom.
Susan, can you show the house plans that are in the packet
Sure.
if you're sharing there? Thank you.
They're not.
So yeah, if you can zoom in. I don't know.
Yep.
A little bit. Perfect.
Is that good?
Yeah, the small addition off the back. So your main
Sideways.
same northerly building wall direction and just in that same tangent.
Yes.
And if you scroll down a little bit more, Susan, you'll see a property plot that shows that it's going no closer to the property line. Is that a fair statement? Mr.
Yeah.
Yes.
And 20 by 16 is what's currently there today.
Yes.
Great. And there is a well access. So this house is a little different. The well is very close to the structure. Again, another reason why they can't slide it over and try to conform with this new addition. Because then they'd have a well in their basement and they'd have to dig another well. So you're looking at thousands of dollars of expense that probably isn't really necessary. And I imagine it's a functioning well for the house today.
Yes.
Yep.
So that kind of outlines the the project. If the commission members have any questions about the property or about their use. So it looks like a master bedroom suite and more living space on the first floor.
Yes.
Yes.
That looks great.
And just one question: the patio that's shown on the one side, is that
It's
an
existing.
existing structure?
Yes.
And the air conditioning unit as well?
That's just a condensing unit. Yep.
Okay. Okay, I guess based on that, any other questions from the members of the commission? Any questions from members of the public? I assume that they're still attending.
There is no public.
Okay. Anyone want to make the motion regarding this application? I'll go ahead and make it. I move that the Planning Commission support this dimensional variance request to permit a side yard setback of 14 feet for the new addition as depicted on the application for the following reasons. 1, the dimensional variance relief sought by the applicant will have no adverse effect on the essential character of the neighborhood. 2nd, the existing home is a non-conforming structure which was not created by the applicant. 3rd, an addition cannot be logically accommodated anywhere else on the property. And 4th, the relief sought is the minimum relief needed to construct the new addition. Any comments on the motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second the
I'll second the
motion.
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Boyle, for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
all that for 5 minutes, guys? Come on. This out a little longer. That's good. That's good because that's a pretty straightforward application, I think. So we're gonna move this forward to the Board of Supervisors next Tuesday evening. So same thing, I'll send the Planning Commission's motion recommendation to the board, and they will consider this at their meeting on Tuesday, the 18th. They will make a decision either to support, to oppose, or to take no position. And then it goes to the zoning hearing board, which we have a date scheduled on the 26th, is it right?
Yes, that's correct.
So very fast and furious, just like the movie. We're going to get this across the finish line quick for you so you can get underway.
All right. Thank you so
We're
much.
excited. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, just a couple of small typos there. I'll fix and we'll get that to the board.
Next, under old business, we have the zoning ordinance review for the business and industrial parks. Spoke to Ernie. He had attended the Futurist Committee meeting, and they are planning currently to send a survey to the business parks, and I assume the industrial parks as well, the owners seeking input for current or future needs. And we were going to wait until we receive those surveys back before we take any action to address any changes with the zoning ordinances for those.
Good.
Is that your understanding too, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't attend that evening, but I knew that Tom had mentioned that they wanted to solicit their thoughts from the corporate park folks. So that makes sense to send something out, more informal than anything else. But and since we're not doing our annual breakfast with them to get their take, obviously this year we won't be doing any of that. But
Yeah.
so that's a good idea to get something out there. And I'll touch base with Tom and see if I can assist in that at all.
And
Did you check
I
with
just
them
want to, I'm sorry, I just wanted to say I was at that meeting and that is correct. They're looking at the BP the I-1 and I-2 to
Okay,
send a
so they're going
survey
to
out.
solicit
Yes.
all those owners?
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Only because I think Ernie had mentioned before that the Board of Supervisors wanted us to look at maybe consolidating all those into one zone. And so we'd want to solicit information from all the pertinent parties.
Marty did mention that he was going to be sending that to the planning commission, but I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But he did mention
Okay.
that the board was planning on doing that.
Okay, so basically everything's tabled until we get that back. The next item we have is the, under old business, is the model ordinances for the pipeline.
Yeah. So,
Ernie had mentioned something about an additional letter.
so basically, the way it goes is the memo you guys have before you will basically get turned into a letter. So with any changes, obviously, with any modifications. So
Okay,
I have that in letter form ready to go, and I can make any adjustments that we need. But it'll basically reflect what you see here with I think it's a 2-page memo. So,
okay. Ernie requested that we also include that map that showed the, depicted the proposed setback and
Yep.
how large an impact area that would be.
yeah, so I talked with Ernie today too, and he mentioned that to me as well. And what I explained, what I'd like to do is, if I can take charge of the screen there, Susan, real
Oh,
quick,
sure, go ahead.
I can do it. Hopefully this works.
Hold on.
What do, I hit share.
I'm going to stop. Wait, did you want to share it?
Yeah, I have, okay, I know, I want to do ArcGIS. Okay, so if I want to do my screen too, I go like this. Can you guys see the Planning Commission pipeline analysis screen?
Not yet. Sometimes there's a delay. There we go. It's coming.
Yep.
Okay.
So what we've done here in staff is I've done what's called basically it's like it's a map, and then we're gonna have a presentation we'll go through. So our GIS intern / analyst from Westchester University helped me out, Gabrielle, and I think you met her before at one of the other meetings. So we put this together, and it's called a story map. So basically outlines what we did here, and what this map shows is that it gives you an idea of where the impacts of this ordinance would be on various properties. So it's a GIS reference map that basically it graphically represents. So here in the Saldo, with the Saldo, you've been looking at that model ordinance with the 300-foot buffer, 50 feet and a 50-foot pipeline easement. You can see that 1,587 parcels are affected by an ordinance that would enact a 300-foot buffer of some type. So if I wanted to click on a parcel, I could tell who owns that parcel. And then if I zoom in, I can look even and determine, okay, so what pipeline, and then I can look at the pipeline is, might have to zoom in a little bit more, Sunoco.
There you go.
So I know that information right off the bat, and this kind of just graphically represents what that ordinance section and how that buffer, if it was enacted, would impact those businesses. So this is the old Mars Drinks, which is Lavazza, which is the largest coffee manufacturer in the world, and has their U.S. world headquarters here, their training and world headquarters. So if they ever wanted to expand, they'd be subject to those requirements, as well as, you could also see that we have Hershey's Mill Holdings over there, so which is the shopping center. Any parcel I want to look at, I can zoom in and look at it. If I go down to the next section, the Saldo Ordinance Exhibit B, there was also another section in the ordinance, in the model ordinance, that said that a 660-foot buffer is needed. This map here shows that 2,697 parcels are affected by that buffer requirement. That's 1,100 more than the previous. And the same features, I can zoom in obviously and look at all areas in question. But really the next one I wanted to show you was the 750-foot buffer. And this comes out of the model zoning ordinance that you guys reviewed. And that would affect 2,969 parcels. And 170 of those fall within the zoning districts of the I, BP, and I1, I2, and BP.
Okay, that sounds really good. So we're going to be able to, all the board members will be able to review that?
Yeah, so I'm going to do this presentation with them at their meeting
Okay.
this week as well.
All right.
And I will
Anyone want to make
try and print
any other comments on this among the members?
No comment from me.
Any public comments?
There's no
Still no members
public.
of the public?
There's no public.
Okay. Anyone want to make the motion?
So where we kind of left it was, you can see there, it's kind of like looking for the board to take in all this information and give you some direction on what they think they want to do. So
Yeah. I'll go ahead and make the motion then. I move that the Planning Commission recommend the Board of Supervisors review the findings of the Planning Commission, take the matter under advisement, and provide the Commission with guidance and direction as they deem appropriate. Any comment on the motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
all right, I'll get this in letter form and send it over to the board
Okay.
and present that to them with this story map, and we'll see what they say.
Do we have any other new business? I'm not aware of any. No other matters?
There was a quick budget request thing in there as far as, but it doesn't really apply to the planning commission, but if you hadn't heard, we did
Okay.
basically we gave ourselves a haircut on this year's budget of almost $500,000, either deferred or just didn't do it. And whatever spending it was, just anticipation of understanding what this is going to do to the revenues for income tax and property and real estate tax look pretty good, especially turnover. Sales are really still very strong in East Goshen. I don't know of any large commercial ones recently, but the residential market is very, very hot. It didn't stop. It didn't miss a beat.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens. And I'm sure you'll be seeing more from John on that in future packets.
Oh, Mark, I did have a question about flooding during the storm. I know there was the issue on Paoli Pike. Were there any other streets that got flooded over?
So we have a handful of areas that are really subject to those types of rains. And Paoli Pike was handling it fine. And it was just a matter of a few minutes. And it was right when we got the flash flood warning, and it was right on cue. It's just amazing how the technology has really given us those opportunities, because it gave our Public Works an opportunity to be there, waiting for the flash flood. They were there. They were able to move debris out of the way, obviously close the road in time, that type of thing. So yeah, it did crest Green Hill Road, Linden Lane, which is a neighborhood street, Strasburg Road, East Boot Road. There was some flooding, but all in all, we're all cleaned up and back up. Places like Concord, some of the other places downstream, not so lucky. Yeah, they still have a lot of trees down, still have roads closed. So we were very fortunate and proactive about, getting some of these culverts cleaned and stuff ahead of time. I think really helped us.
How about that development where a lot of the owners had come out when the Hankin Group was making their presentation that had the flooding in past years?
That's a good point, John, because I had to go over there. I had to skirt 2 police barricades because I wanted to look at a property over there that's has submitted a permit to place a pool in the floodplain. And I wanted to kind of survey if I could get a litmus test of where that floodwaters really actually is, because I mean, flood maps are what they are. They're an estimate. So in the corner, in the southeast corner, it was coming close to people's decks, but it was 3 or 4 inches deep at that point. So I haven't gotten a single call about flooding from anybody over there. So
Okay.
yeah. And I think something, the Hicks Farms just upstream, they just put in a brand new bridge. So that probably helped because that bridge is bigger than the one they had before. It probably allows the flows a little bit better because they lost a bridge last summer, rains. So that could have helped. Plus, we did check all the culverts on Kelly Pike and they were all clear at that time. So
Okay.
that's the real challenge. If you have clogged or debris in the floodplain area and it starts jamming up, that's when you can have real problems.
Do Public Works go out before the storm and check all those as well?
Yeah, so we did. There is a PennDOT culvert, so they just peeking over to make sure, and of course they're ready to close it if we need to for safety. And we're, that's really a PennDOT responsibility, but we always lend a hand to PennDOT because they're always pretty short-handed. They got about the same number of guys for us that we have for 8 municipalities. So
yeah,
they're short-handed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we look at storm drains and all that. We clean, we open and clean the dam drains, all that, make sure they're all unclogged and that type of thing. So.
Okay. Do we have a liaison report tonight?
I don't see Marty.
Okay.
Anyone here?
I know Marty was having technical difficulties with his computer today, so.
Okay. Any other comments from the members of the commission? Given none, anyone want to make a motion for adjournment?
They don't want to leave, John.
I know. I'll make the motion for adjournment. Anyone want a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Well, I guess that wraps it up for this evening. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Schedule, so we gotta get some applications in here, so there's something to do. And
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I missed it all. Just came in for the adjournment here.
You could have made the motion, Dan.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be appropriate for me to make a motion to adjourn that I never participated.
All right. Everybody have a good evening then.
You too, John.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
so Dan, we moved everything forward to the board. So if you're interested to hear they'll see all that on Tuesday night. So